It's time now for another installment of Flashpoint. This week, Kirstin O'Connor talks with Harbor House of Central Florida.
Good morning, I'm Kirstin O'Connor. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and right now is an important time to talk about the negative effects abusive behavior can have on victims and their families throughout their lives. And that's why News 6 and Harbor House are teaming up to get results and help victims and potentially save lives. Today, joining us on Flashpoint, Michelle Spurzell of Harbor House. Yeah. So happy to have you here with us. And Apopka Police Chief Mike McKinley, thank you both for your time. This is an important topic that we all talk about in October. And I know Harbor House has been leading this effort for so long here in Central Florida. What is Harbor House for people who don't know, and what services do you provide?
Sure. So Harbor House, we're the certified domestic violence center that serves Orange County. And so a lot of times when people think about a domestic violence center, they think about an emergency shelter or a crisis hotline. We absolutely have both of those. But we also have a court program. So we have a legal team. We have 3 lawyers that are working out of the courthouse, in addition to us having a lot of advocates that are there. We work with the clerk of courts in the courthouse, and we also have a lot of different advocates that are co-located with some of our local police departments and also the sheriff's departments. And then we have standalone outreach locations where we're able to really help people who are living in Orange County, and we try and be as close to where people are so you don't have to travel very far for services.
Okay, so it's a way for people to reach out for help.
Absolutely.
In our
communities. So we're looking at helping domestic violence victims, and then also help them move towards being victims to being survivors. And we work with women, we work with men, and then when people are coming into our emergency shelter, we're also working with their children and their pets as well.
Awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. This past year that we've covered a lot of stories involving domestic violence. Unfortunately, we do every year. How many people in Central Florida are affected by domestic violence?
Absolutely. So the latest law enforcement numbers from 2016, because they do them a year after, was right around 8,000, just a little bit over 8,000 individuals. And that was domestic violence reported incidences that were here in Orange County. And when you look at that, we have right around 850 women and children who end up coming into our emergency shelter. And of the 850, half of those are kids that were coming in with their mom. Typically, we serve men in our shelter, but typically it's a mom that's going to be coming in. And then also in our outreach program, it's right around 4,000, anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000. But if you look at those numbers compared to the 8,000 that are reported incidences, and know that there's so many that don't even get reported because no one calls law enforcement, it's really a high number. I don't know if, Chief, you want to add anything to that?
You know, a lot of it is unreported, but we do get calls from neighbors about domestic violence or hearing yelling and screaming, and gives us an opportunity to intervene. Harbor House does a great job of getting to the victims early now, so that it encourages them to stay in the system and seek the help that they need.
Do you get a lot of calls from the same place over and over again, or?
You know, I started in 1983, and we used to not be able to do anything about domestic violence. Now, with the laws that have changed and the champions of domestic violence throughout the years, we're able to intervene early, and we have a pro-arrest approach to it so that we can get them the help that they need and get the victims the assistance that they need. So it's not as repeat as it used to be, but obviously we do have some repeat offenses.
Well, we have a lot more to talk about with both Harbor House and the Apopka Police Chief when we come back. Welcome back to Flashpoint. Today we have Michelle Spurzell of Harbor House and Apopka Police Chief Mike McKinley joining us to talk about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I want to get right into it since we've kind of reviewed what the big topic is. What are some of the signs of abuse that both of you see in your work?
So, being a domestic violence center, when we're looking at domestic violence, we can look at a broader definition than law enforcement. And so when we're talking about domestic violence, we're talking about emotional abuse, we're talking about physical abuse, which a lot of people know about. We're also talking about financial abuse, spiritual abuse. And so it's really about power and control, and it's someone having power over another individual. In order to be able to prove that, or when there's an arrest that's going to be happening or imminent, then it's a little bit different as far as what law enforcement's looking at for signs of abuse.
You know, obviously, when we respond to a call for domestic violence, we're looking at, is the house torn up, or physical signs of abuse, bruising or redness at the time, because you may not see the bruising yet. But there's other signs too that people can recognize, such as, a woman or a man that becomes withdrawn or comes to work with bruises that aren't necessarily in areas that most people would bruise in or have an accident in and things like that. And they might be able to help the victim reach out for things. But we see a lot of the abuse right off the bat when we respond to the domestic violence, and we deal with that and try to determine who the primary aggressor is so that we can intervene with an arrest.
I know you mentioned a little bit, emotional, spiritual abuse. Are those part of the misconceptions maybe about abuse that we didn't take as a serious thing many years ago, and now we're starting to see there are many different ways that abusers can control their victims?
Yeah, I would say that it's something that's always existed, because someone putting you down and really lowering your self-confidence is oftentimes how violence starts to escalate. And so it might start off that you're dumb, you're not so smart, you're never going to amount to anything, or no one's going to ever find you attractive, or if we're going to talk about sexual abuse that happens within a domestic violence, you're horrible at sex and no one will ever want you, I just put up with you, or there's that, and then it might escalate to being in text messages. And so that's something else that we'll look at to see what's happening as far as, are you going to be continuing to be abused via text and via technology? When we're talking about financial abuse, it's a couple different things. It might be a relationship that started early on and someone saying, well, you don't need to go to school, I'll always take care of you. And so that it starts right away with education not being at a level where someone can get additional employment. And then even to go as far as checking in with someone at work repeated times, so that a supervisor is like, what's going on? You're supposed to be working, not on the phone all the time. And so someone might get fired because of the fact that there's an abuser who's showing up at work or calling all the time at work, or the phone's going off, and she would rather answer that phone call or respond to that text message because she knows if she goes home, the consequence of not doing it is greater than what's going to happen to her at work. So when we're talking about those different things, it's really an escalation of the behavior.
And I know we just kind of touched on this, but the underreported cases, is that a growing number, a shrinking number over the years?
Well, it's 1 in 4 women, probably 1 in 3 women can be victims of domestic violence, and right now it's 1 in 4 men. And that's something that we're seeing a lot more of. When I first started doing this work, it was 1 in 7 men. And so just to see that change, and I've been doing the work for 10 years, to me is very significant.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a totally different number. And so what are some of those cases like, the I guess, female versus male domestic violence cases?
So when we're working with someone who is a man who's coming in, it's typically happening in our outreach program. And there's a different level of shame that's associated with a male victim coming forward, because sometimes they just feel like their manhood, or it's just they shouldn't be a victim. It shouldn't have happened to them. And a lot of times it's different individuals that were taught never to hit back, which is what we all want everybody to not do. We don't want people to get injured. We don't want people to get hurt. We don't want people to hit. But that's sometimes what ends up happening. And so we're working with them a lot in our outreach program with court services. We're doing a lot of work with them as far as peer support, and so one-on-one, having conversations and working through. And then also even the system itself is a little bit more difficult for a male victim who's coming forward. And as far as what I've seen, and this is totally a generalization, but what I've seen when it has been, and we do still talk in the she, we do use a lot of the female terms when we're talking about domestic violence, because it is still more prevalent as far as men against women, and so violence occurring and violence against women. But what I've seen is that it's been a lot more physical, and also just a lot more aggressive. And so we'll be working with women who are completely battered with a broken jaw, a broken eye socket. But as far as with men, it's more that emotional, the psychological abuse that's been happening. I don't know if you want to add to what you've seen.
No, I think you're right on spot. I mean, most men aren't going to come forward with domestic violence. It's just not something in the character, and you see it in certain relationships. Sometimes the men will come forward, but for the most part, they don't come forward, but they can be just as much of a victim as a female can.
And let's round this out even further. There are pets that are involved in this, and you help with that as well at Harbor House. Yeah, so pets are often the first victims in a family, because it's much easier to say that the dog ran away or the dog got ran over by a car than to say that the dog was actually beaten.
And that's just one, it's a tactic that's used by abusers to keep someone kind of under control, as far as if you don't do what I want you to do, this is what's going to happen to you, by abusing the animal. Or even when it gets even more highly lethal, if the dog ends up or the cat ends up being killed, it's another message of this is what I can do. And this is the level I'm willing to go to keep you here, to keep you and the kids under control. And so when we started the kennel program started across the Florida area and then also in this area, it was really to remove a barrier as far as coming into the domestic violence shelter, is that if you don't have kids and the pets are your children, you're not going to leave them with someone who you know will hurt them because they've been hurting you or they've been injuring the animals. Another reason why is to remove the barrier, the fact that you don't want to have to explain to your young child like why it's safe for you to leave, but it's okay to leave the dog behind, or to say like we have to leave Charlie behind and we have to go. And so to have it be that we can bring everybody in, the entire family, just makes it so much better for everybody. And the animals are there for comfort in addition to being safe.
I know one of the ways that News 6 has helped with that is our Pause for Peace event.
Yes.
And every year that's a great event. Brings out a lot of people to downtown Orlando and to the other areas in Central Florida. A question for you, Chief. Apopka is the second largest city within Orange County. What's been your experience with your team handling these domestic violence incidents?
Well, as I mentioned a little bit ago, we take a pro-arrest approach because we found, and statistics have shown, that early intervention and that arrest gets the family into the process, whether it be that they end up divorced or whatever. That's not our ultimate goal here. Our goal is to get them into the process and make sure that they get the assistance that they need, that the batterer gets the counseling that they need, that the victim understands that they don't have to be in an abusive relationship. None of us enter a relationship thinking that we're going to be abused, but you talked about the myths of domestic violence, and there is no socioeconomic group that it pertains to. There is no culture that it pertains to. It's across all boards. The other thing that we do is we make sure that we're properly trained. About once a year, members of Harbor House come in and talk to the officers about domestic violences, the programs that they're running, what their shelter has to offer, and we're also doing training actually next week, I think it is November 2nd, or a couple weeks from now, with the state attorney's office to make sure that the evidence that we're gathering and the reports that we're writing can lead to a successful prosecution. So it's our goal to stay at the cutting edge of what we need to do to make sure that the victims, survivors, and that the batterers get the help that they need.
And this partnership is definitely helping with that,
yeah.
I can tell.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Harbor House's temporary emergency shelter. So some people might be intimidated by that word shelter. Can you explain what it is for victims and how it's secure and anonymous?
Yeah, people? Absolutely. So it is a confidential location. And so when someone's coming in, it's about the fact that they're going to be safe when they're on our campus. And when you're on campus, everybody who comes in is assigned a case manager. And the case manager is going to really help you go from being in the emergency shelter and take care of things to help you get back out into the community. And it doesn't have to be our community. Some people are coming here and they want to go back to where they grew up, or they have a support system because that's where their family is. So it might be that you come in, you safety plan with us, we help you come up with a transition plan that's going to get you back to New York, or it might be someplace in Miami. So we help with that transition, but we also will sit down and just say, okay, what is it that you need? Do you need housing? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking to go back to school? And how can we help you facilitate that happening again in your life? And we're an empowerment-based, basically it's empowerment-based philosophy. And what that means is that we will give you the options, but it's really up to you to choose what it is that you want to do. Because when we're working with someone who's coming into our center, oftentimes a lot of their choices have been taken away and someone's made those decisions for them for a very long time, or they've been pigeonholed that this is the only choice that they have. And so it's really, really peeling back and getting someone's self-confidence back in a way that they feel comfortable and confident making choices for them and their family and their kids.
So one last thing, we have to talk about this event on October 18th. Harbor House is going to be conducting its annual Purple Door Luncheon. Tell us about the event quick.
Sure. So it's our annual event, and it's moved from a breakfast to a lunch. We're going to be doing it at the Rosen Center right off of I-Drive, and tickets are $40. And the things that we're doing a little bit different is we want to honor all the different partnerships that Harbor House has and all the good work that the communities had been doing as far as domestic violence work. I'm new to the area, and one thing that I've seen is that this is very unique as far as everybody really talking about domestic violence, really taking a stand saying together we need to figure out how to solve this epidemic that's in our community. And that's what we want to honor. We want to honor other champions who are doing the work, and Chief McKinley is actually one of the people we're honoring. He is going to be our champion of justice, and he was nominated by some of our staff members, some of the committee members, and even some of our board members had nominated him for this award. And there are a few other people that we're honoring. There's going to be champions of courage, champions of advocacy, and also champions of equality. And so we're really excited to really have the community come out and then honor some of the other people that we've been partnering with, but also are a champion in their own right.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. So again, that is October 18th. We want to make sure that we have all of that information on our website, clickorlando.com, and thank our guests for coming in today. We appreciate you guys. And this is something that we have to fight all year long, not just in October. We'll be right back after the break.